Hey everyone, it's Jay from the JCast podcast. Sorry that we couldn't give you guys a podcast episode this week. We were having some technical difficulties that we didn't realize until after the episode was done. But next week we'll come back with with a podcast episode. We won't be able to do one this weekend either because of some of the obligations that we have to take care of. But with that being said, I want to talk to you guys about the interview that I saw with would-be presidential candidate Vivek, and if you can call it an interview with a lady called Tezlyn Figaro. Now, that was one of the most disgusting interviews I've seen against a presidential candidate in a long time, and this is after 2020, right? This guy Vivek, he came into that show, into the Breakfast Club, completely willing to defend some of his quote-unquote controversial ideas or would-be policies as president. One of them being, let's say, he thinks that the voting age should be 25, or that you should pass a civics exam to be able to vote at 18, just like any immigrant would have to. He came in there ready to kind of defend those ideas. He also said that he believes that affirmative action has been disastrous and that he agrees that it should be rolled back. He came in there thinking that he was going to talk about that. But instead, what he ended up having to, I guess, defend with an interview with some lady named Tezlyn Figaro is, did he do any community work, community service, or anything like that that shows that he cares about the community? And here's my issue with that. He was immediately put on the back foot the moment he started that interview with that lady. When somebody interviews you in a quote-unquote good faith discussion, they don't set up a premise and then move the goalpost. They don't set up a premise and then when you prove that their premise is wrong, they move the goalpost and set up another premise, and then move the goalpost and set up another premise. That's how you know it's not a good faith discussion. And he should have called her out on that. But like I said, that's the part of the political aspect of it that people liked about Trump versus most politicians, where he knew he was upset, and he should have been more genuine about it, and he should have just said, "Listen, man, you're out of pocket for that. Charlemagne and DJ Envy, you two are out of pocket. This is completely unacceptable to try to ambush somebody like this." And here's why I say that. She accused him of not contributing anything to society, right? She's like, "Have you held any leadership positions?" Right? That was the premise of her argument. Have you held any leadership positions that gave back to society? And he was like, "Yes, I've held leadership positions in the biotech company that I ran to develop life-saving medications for children who have cancer who don't make it past like the age of 5 or something like that. I've also developed prostate cancer medications to help people," right? That is considered a service to mankind. If somebody, even if I had to pay for it, went out of their way to risk their money and to risk their reputation to try to develop a medication to help my child, hopefully, this doesn't happen, but a child that's sick so that he can live longer, I would consider that a service, right? So once he said that, she immediately moved the goalpost. And said, and was like, I'm sorry. And was like, well, no, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, did you hold any like civic leadership position? Did you do anything in high school? Were you student council in high school? She kept bringing it back to high school. And he should have said, "Who gives a freak what I did in high school?" You know what I mean? Who cares? And he should have said, "I didn't do anything in high school because what matters is what I'm doing now." He should have said, "You sound as ridiculous as the people who still act like they're somebody because they were class prom king or homecoming king. That's how ridiculous you sound." But he didn't say that. He was like, "Well, no, I didn't hold any leadership positions." And then immediately she pounced on that in high school. Never mind everything he did up to that point. She immediately pounced on that in high school, and because that's what they are, combative and uncooperative, and just want to fight for no reason. She was like, "Well, because in high school, not even in high school, in elementary school, she even had to go as far back as elementary school when he was like, in fact, when he was like, yeah, I actually was like the president of the junior student council in my high school or something like that." She was like, well, did you organize anything? But you see how she continuously kept moving the goalpost after she already set up the premise? See how she continually kept saying, did you do this? Did you do this? And every time he said, yeah, she had to go all the way back to 5th grade where she said, because in 5th grade, I organized the students because Miss Harrison, or whatever the teacher's name was, kept snatching papers from the students. Miss Harrison kept on doing stuff that I didn't like. So I organized the students around that. Did you do anything like that? He's like, no, I didn't do it. And he should have called out that woman for the ridiculousness of those questions. For the ridiculousness that were those questions. Charlemagne, DJ Envy, just letting her continuously ask this guy those questions. And not say, hey, keep it to the topics that we're discussing. You know what I mean? He should have stood on his ground and should have said, hey, I didn't organize 5th graders to talk to a teacher to tell her to stop snatching papers. What I did do, I was able to diplomatically, right, talk to rich people and get them to invest their money, not loan, not give me, invest their money so that I can develop life-saving medications so that people's lives can get saved and so that people can get paid, in which everybody was happy. He should have said that. He should have said, what did you do? What have you done since high school? He didn't do that. He didn't call her out on that. He tried to be polite, and after a certain point, the moment somebody tries to put you on the back foot, and the moment you realize that this is not a good faith discussion, the glove should have come off and he should have started calling her out on it. And the thing is, you knew that what he was getting into, because he's what we call an inconvenient minority. Non-white, successful. They can't use him to say that the system is unfair because he grew up in the system and prospered in the system that people keep accusing of being non-white, right? And what gets me even more annoyed about this is that they didn't have that smoke for Joe Biden when he was being interviewed by Charlemagne. The dude showed up and said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. They didn't press him on his policies. They didn't press him on anything. They didn't say that to him. They didn't treat him nearly as rough as they did Vivek. And mind you, Vivek has more contributions to society than Biden does. Biden passed the 96-95 crime bill that imprisoned disproportionately black and brown people. And he didn't get that level of vitriol that Vivek got. Right? Kamala Harris was on the Breakfast Club trying to, quote unquote, fit in, right? And they were like, so what did you do in college? She was like, well, you know, smoked a little weed. It was a joke to her, laughing about it. Tulsi Gabbard called her out on this. And what happened? Comes out, she was out here trying to brutally prosecute people who were smoking weed when she was doing something. Well, I forgot when she was like the prosecutor or a cop in California. I forgot what it was. You think they called her out on that? You think they were asking her what she was doing in 5th grade? You think they were asking her if she organized anybody in the middle school? You know, to minimize somebody's accomplishments because they got paid for it and say like my accomplishments are better than yours because I did it for free. It's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. And I'm not gonna sit here and continue I'm not gonna sit here and continue to beat this thing over the head, but if you organize something, right, and it helped 50 people and you didn't get paid, that doesn't make you a better person or less than a better person. Either better or less, it doesn't make you any of those over some guy who organized thousands of people, got paid, got rich while doing it, and benefited hundreds of thousands of people. Just because he got paid for it now, his contributions to society don't count. You know, and then the audacity for this woman to be like, you were sitting here in a country that my ancestors, sitting around in the country that my ancestors built, trying to make it seem like he was just sitting around, not doing anything. That moment, he should have known. And he was trying, you know. He's like, well, correction here. Let me make a correction. Let me set the record straight. No, Vivek. Should have told her to stop running her mouth. Should have told her to stop making stuff up. Should have told her to stop acting so angry. Should have told her to stop grilling me in a way that you guys didn't grill Joe Biden or Kamala Harris when she's done more damage, when they both done more damage to the black community than I have. And now you want to sit here and talk to me and lecture me about sitting around in a country that your ancestors built. I wasn't sitting around. He should have told her that. I wasn't sitting around. I was out here trying to make the world a better place and get paid while doing it and get money while doing it. He should have stood on that. And he should have said, and you know what? I did. I was very successful in that. I was very successful in that. And if it would have been somebody else here, if it would have been Barack Obama sitting here doing the same exact thing that I did, you guys wouldn't have that smoke for him. You guys wouldn't talk to him nearly as rude as you've been talking to me. If it would have been Kamala Harris doing all this that I just did word for word, you guys would not have that smoke for them. You guys would be applauding them, patting them on the back, talking to them, telling them how much of a great leaders they are and how shining examples for minorities they are. But because he doesn't fit in the category of a political identity that they side with, they talk to him like that. I don't care what anybody says. That interview was completely unfair. I don't care what anybody says. That interview was completely disrespectful. Completely disrespectful. And I'm going to leave it off with this. Barack Obama was a community organizer. Then he became a senator. Then he became the president. All of a sudden, because Barack Obama was a community organizer, and nobody can point to anything he did outside of politics and say, oh, Barack Obama did that. Nobody can do that. But this guy, and whether you like him or not, I'm not saying I'm going to vote for this guy, but this guy actually had accomplishments. He was somebody before politics. He was somebody before politics. But that wasn't good enough for them. That wasn't good enough for them, no. And then he was like, you know what? And Vivek was like, you know what? I did. I was volunteering at the hospital in the maternity ward or something like that. You know, because blah, blah. And then she was like, well, yeah. Again, moving the goalpost to a premise that you already set. That wasn't good enough for her either. It's like, well, you were just doing that to get into college. Guys, this is from the JCast podcast. You heard it here first. When somebody's trying to have a discussion with you and they already start trying to put you on the back foot and they already start accusing you of stuff and they move the goalpost from a argument that they set up, okay? The gloves come off. Either you give it back to them and you stand on your ground and you say, yeah, you know what, I did do that, now what? And I got rich off of it and now I'm trying to be president. Or trying to do whatever it is you're trying to do, as long as you're trying to do the right thing or what you believe is the right thing. Stand on that. Or just don't engage with them anymore. Just don't engage with them anymore. That was a disingenuous interview by Charlemagne, by DJ Envy, by Tezlyn Figaro, and Vivek should have called them out more on that. You know what I mean? He came in there ready to defend his arguments of what he believed and people believe are controversial arguments or opinions, and he immediately had to defend why he wasn't volunteering in the 5th grade. Freak off, man.